which is 2.
Hi!
Shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you.
Oh, it's okay.
Hello survivors and welcome to Survivor's Guilt, the only channel that determines your odds of surviving 2014's frightening found footage friend movie, Creep. So stay tuned till the end for your survival stats. I'm your sharp-dressed slasher turned stage 3 clinger, GhostFake. But before we start, go ahead and lock that like button in your house and tell it that it's free to leave at any time. And go ahead and let that share button know that Joseph isn't who he says he is. And go ahead and invite the subscribe button over to a secluded yet public park so that you can hit it in the head with something sharp. Now I hope you like hanging out with uncomfortable people, cause this movie is getting spoiled. Creep, written by Mark Duplass and Patrick Brice, and directed by Patrick Brice, and starring Mark Duplass and Patrick Brice. Creep is about a videographer who takes a side job that turns out to be way more demanding than he thought it would be. We open up to videographer Aaron narrating to the camera about a job he found on an online advertisement, offering $1,000 for just one day of shooting.
The ad said $1,000 for the day, filming services.
And that discretion is appreciated. Aaron drives out to the secluded house where he is supposed to meet Joseph, but when he knocks, nobody answers. So he tries to call him, but Joseph doesn't answer his phone either.
No answer and no voicemail.
Well, at least he's consistent. Confused, Aaron makes his way back down to his car, taking note of an axe stuck in a tree stump near the house. He decides to wait in his car for a while to see if the guy shows up, and is quickly jump scared by him when he does.
Alright, Aaron, nice to meet you.
Joseph. Oh my god.
They introduce themselves, and Joseph explains what his plans are, telling Aaron that he is a cancer survivor, having undergone treatment for liver and lung cancer, but just a couple months ago has learned that he has an inoperable baseball-sized brain tumor that is definitely going to kill him, and that he's only got about 2 to 3 months to live. Telling Aaron that his wife, Angela, is currently pregnant with their first child, and rather than spending his remaining time with Angela, he wants to record a video diary for his unborn son, and that he just wants Aaron to document everything, portraying exactly who he is as a man. He pays Aaron and they agree to kick things off.
You ready for this?
Okay, let's do it.
And Joseph heads upstairs to get into the tub. Aaron follows him up the stairs where Joseph is disrobing for tubby time. Joseph then plays out a scenario for the camera wherein he pretends to be bathing his infant son.
Oh, stinkeroo. Oh.
Before he breaks the scene, lamenting to Aaron about how he can't stop thinking about dying, and that he could just end it right now, before he slips under the surface of the water. Aaron gets nervous when he doesn't come back up, only for Joseph to pop up out of the water, scaring him and then apologizing for the bad joke.
I'm so sorry, that was a bad joke. Okay.
Joseph suggests that they head outside for some fresh air, to which the razzled Aaron agrees. He tells Aaron to grab a coat from the guest bedroom closet, but Aaron once again gets jump scared when he discovers a werewolf mask in the closet. Good lord, this guy's high-strung. Joseph introduces Aaron to the character that his dad supposedly created called Peach Fuzz.
It's just Peach Fuzz. Say hello.
Which comes with its own theme song, which Joseph then performs for him.
Twinsies.
Before the two of them jump into the car and head to the trail and hike to a location called
Las Aguas Milagros de Corazon, which means the miracle waters of the heart.
a place of legend that Joseph had heard about that may have healing properties.
All right, Betty, let's go cure some cancer.
And the two begin their hike to the healing pool, but not before Joseph gives Aaron another jump scare. The two make small talk about death and dying, and Joseph notices a landmark signifying that they are near the heart water thing, and from the cliff they can see it. They climb down to the waters and christen each other before Joseph carves their initials into the rock. Creepy. And he then suggests that they go to a place called Billy Bear's for lunch. Cut over to lunch, and Joseph breaks the silence by asking Aaron if he's ever done anything he's ashamed of. And Aaron proceeds to tell a story of how, as a kid, he used to pee his pants often, and how his mom bought a wrist device that would initiate an audible alarm as soon as it detected wetness in his pants. And how one day at school he was playing on the monkey bars and started peeing himself, setting off the alarm. I remember back in my day when just having piss on your pants signified to others that you had pissed your pants. Times were so much simpler then. Joseph then asks if he can share next, and proceeds to admit to Aaron that he took pictures of him when he arrived at his house. Creepy. Before explaining it away as nervousness and that he was just scared, and that now he is ashamed of it and would like to move past it. And Aaron forgives him and agrees to move on. Later, they get to Joseph's house, and when Aaron tries to leave, Joseph bullies him into having a drink before he leaves.
One drink,
and I'll send you on your merry way.
And they sit down to commemorate their day by having a couple of whiskeys together. Joseph proceeds to tell Aaron that he is very wealthy and wants to give Aaron some money to help him out, telling him that he left a check in his boot. And when Aaron goes to look, Joseph laughs and tells him that there is no check.
Gotcha. All right. Sorry. There's not a check in your boot.
But that since Aaron looked immediately, it means that he must need money. Or that Joseph has never walked around with a check in his boot. It's very uncomfortable. Joseph tells Aaron that he wants to help him, and they toast to figuring that out later. And Aaron decides that it's finally time to leave. But Joseph tells him that he lied to him, as a ploy to keep him there, and then proceeds to tell Aaron the truth about Peach Fuzz, asking Aaron not to record the conversation, but that he needs to get this off his chest. And after Aaron hides the camera, Joseph tells him about how 4 years ago, Joseph discovered his wife's weird perversions, including animals, and how he wore the Peach Fuzz mask and broke into his own house, and assaulted his wife, and how she appeared to enjoy it. And the next day, when he asked her how her night was, since she didn't know it was him, and she responded that it was fine, and that they never spoke of the event. Gross. A little later, Aaron finally decides that it's actually time to leave, but he can't find his keys. He starts panicking, not being able to find his keys and all, and Joseph tells him that he might as well stay the night, which is something Aaron definitely doesn't want to do, especially with Peach Fuzz, the wife werewolf in the house. Aaron reluctantly agrees and pours them a couple of drinks, making Joseph's extra Benadryl-y. A short time later, Joseph is passed out next to the fireplace, and Aaron starts searching his pockets for his keys. He finds Joseph's phone, and soon after he finds it, it starts ringing. Aaron runs to the bathroom, camera in tow, and answers it. It turns out to be Angela, except she's not Joseph's wife. She's Joseph's sister. Oh, even grosser.
Just leave.
What's going on?
Nothing.
And she tells him that he needs to leave. He tells her that he wants to, but that he can't find his keys. And she tells him that he's better off just walking, and if he can give her the address, she'll come pick him up. Angela tells him that her brother has problems, and that what he's told Aaron is mostly lies. But before he can tell her where he is, the call gets dropped, so Aaron decides that he better go. He leaves the bathroom only to find that Joseph is missing, leading to Aaron cautiously searching for him.
Death.
He eventually finds him on the deck, where Joseph tells him that he's scared about dying, and Aaron tells Joseph that he already knows the truth, but wants to help him, and that if he'll just give him his keys back, he'll get Joseph the help he needs. But Joseph takes off back into the house and proceeds to guard the front door, as the puppy-guarding sister werewolf, Peach Fuzz.
Are you gonna let me go?
And when Aaron has had enough taunting, he charges Joseph and the camera cuts off. Sometime later, Joseph is seen on camera climbing up a hill with 3 large trash bags full of something. Or someone. Creepy. And he proceeds to dig a hole. We then find out that we're watching a video that Joseph sent to Aaron as a potentially veiled threat. But Aaron takes out the disc and tosses it into the trash, hoping it to be the end of it. But sometime later, he gets another package at his house, and he opens it up to find a knife and another DVD. He puts the DVD in the player and sits down and watches the video made by Joseph, wherein he apologizes for the last video.
No hard feelings.
And he explains that he wasn't in the right headspace after discovering that Aaron drugged him when he found the empty Benadryl bottle in the trash. He claims that he and Aaron are now equal and can move on together. Joseph then explains the items in the box, suggesting there is one that Aaron might have missed. Aaron discovers a stuffed animal wolf in the box, and then continues the video, in which Joseph explains why the wolf is his favorite animal.
Is this beautiful heart, and yeah, it's misguided, and yeah, occasionally it murders things.
Namely because it just loves too much, but sometimes it doesn't know how to show that love, and it just murders things. He then tells Aaron to enjoy the wolf, but when he's done enjoying it, he needs to stab it and gut it.
When you stick a knife in something and you gut it.
And there will be a surprise in it. The video ends and Aaron proceeds to tear into the wolf, and he finds a locket with pictures of he and Joseph in it. Creepy.
Time to call the cops.
Cut to Aaron adding some locks on his doors while he calls the police to report Joseph. Unfortunately, the police can't do much without his full name or the address, so Aaron gives up and later that night continues recording himself recounting the weird dreams he's been having about Joseph, before he hears a loud noise and gets up to check it out. He searches his house, not noticing that Joseph is standing outside the front door. Creepy. He eventually catches a glimpse of him and grabs his camera and walks outside. He walks around his house and doesn't find Joseph, but he finds his trash tipped over and dug through. Later that night, as Aaron sleeps, his camera turns on and begins recording him. Creepy. And the person recording him cuts off some of his hair, and the camera turns off. Cut to sometime later, Aaron tells the camera that the last few nights have been without incident, but that this morning he found a DVD slid into his window through a cut in the screen.
This is where I sleep. This is a broken screen in my window.
Entitled, My Last Video. Aaron puts it in his DVD player and sits down to watch it. The video begins with Joseph telling him he totally understands why he would throw away a perfectly good grave digging video, but that he doesn't understand why he would throw away a perfectly good locket.
And this hurt me because I made this for you.
And that he was really hurt by it. He explains how angry it made him before he tells him that it makes sense since their whole relationship was built on lies, and that he doesn't know exactly what's wrong with him, but that he knows that he needs and wants to get help, but that he wants just one last chance to try to sit down with Aaron and explain himself and hopefully get closure on all this crap, inviting him to meet at the lake the next day.
At Lake Gregory, tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Mentioning that it's a public place and that he'll be perfectly safe, and that he just wants to talk. Aaron reluctantly agrees to meet with him, truly feeling sorry for him, and the next day arrives at the lake and sets up the camera to record their interaction.
All right, Joseph, I'm here. You got me.
He goes and sits on a bench and waits for Joseph to arrive, and a short time later Joseph walks into the frame. Eventually he puts on the peach fuzz mask and takes out an axe, and as he stands over Aaron he brings the axe down on his cranium. And axes Aaron into the meat bank at deposit number 1, before it's revealed that Joseph is sitting and watching the footage of him killing Aaron, remarking on how it was smart of Aaron to record it, and that it was smart of Aaron to have the police on speed dial, but that he couldn't figure out why Aaron didn't just turn around.
It's because you're the greatest person that's ever lived, Aaron.
And that it was his belief that Joseph was a good person that ultimately did him in.
No matter what I did to you, you believed I was good.
In spite of the bad stuff Joseph did. And a little later, Joseph, now calling himself Bill, is talking to another potential videographer who is calling for the job.
The job is pretty simple, really.
As Bill is archiving his footage of Aaron with the rest of his victims, archiving deposits 2 through 35 into the meat bank. And the movie ends. So now, to find out, what are your chances of suffering survivor's guilt? This is where we take a look at our main characters and the death that surrounds them to determine your odds of surviving this movie. We start off our meat bank deposit with Aaron trusting into the meat bank at deposit number 1, followed by Joseph's archives loading up the meat bank at deposits 2 through 35. Now this count is going to differ slightly with where we begin in Creep 2, but assuming that every individual name here is a separate person he has killed, we've got a total of 35. Now let's take a look at our survivors. We've got Joseph/Bill, which means that out of a total of 36 characters, only 1 survives, giving you a 2.8% chance of surviving this movie. Given those odds, how would you react when Joseph gives you a tubby and tickles your tootsies?
Oh, stinkeroo.
Let me know in the comments below. And if this is your first time on my channel, go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Also, consider checking out patreon.com/survivorsguilt. I'm currently working on ideas and perks for signing up, as well as working out bonus content of some sort. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to discontinue the GhostFake masks beginning next year. They will still be available in some way, shape, or form, but I'm not sure exactly how yet because they aren't exactly easy to make, and they were a bit harder to stock up on this year. So I'm going to have to reevaluate the True Believer tier, and unfortunately the masks won't be part of it come January next year. But guys, I'm super excited to be back creating content, and as always, thanks and don't die.